Hello everyone. The next feature we will implement is rolling. Basically, the character have to roll around when pressing a key. The rolling is important for a Souls-like game because we can just roll away from attacks and roll around in the level. So let's implement it. Rolling animation is not very easy to accomplish, but with Blender tools, it can be done and re-imported into the game. For you who ordered one of my courses, you can just download the rolling files. So a prepared asset is there, which you can use for your learning purpose. I made one rolling animation from the last course and just rename it Terra Char Rollen new. Therefore, when getting the Terra Char Rollen new, I go into the content browser, go to player, and just import it. Right click, import the current folder, go to my assets in the project, Terra Char Rollen new. Terra Char Rolling new. I just open it up, go import it. Then we have to choose a skeleton. The skeleton is the Terra. Just get the Terra skeleton. Hope it works with the standard settings. Just import. And here is Terra rolling. And it seems to working with some bugs. As you can see, for some reason the clothes are not compatible with the rolling animation. So at this point, it is okay. And just the beginning is not good enough. Maybe we just use this position or reposition, or the Blender file could be edited. The FBX file, the level of detail on position 1 is not working. Originally, it was created for another character, for the greystone. So with the greystone, it just working fine. As you can see, the level of detail when we choose 0, with level of detail 0, is working. So maybe we have to regenerate the level of detail for the mesh, or just use the level of detail 0. Because we use the root motion, we have to enable root motion. Just click on root motion. Seems okay. Save that. We can fix it later with the level of detail, or just try to regenerate the level of detail. Just open up the content browser and the skeletal mesh Terra. So we can go here to level of detail and just say we have 51,000 or 88,000 triangles. Let's try a level of detail of maybe 4. Click regenerate. All right, and double check the start. So on the end, I did the key in this position. Just go to the skeleton tree, click on root, and the first key I have also to set. So it's animation to the start, and at the start you can just transfer it to the start point and press the key button upstairs. And with the 2 keys on the start and on the end, we have a more distance when it is running, so that animation is ready to go. Okay, just click on save, or we can close it. We can close the other tabs. just go to the content browser. Now we can use our animation sequence to create an animation montage. Just click on the animation sequence Terra char rolling new. With right click, create anim montage. So we can use this animation montage inside a slot at the animation blueprint. So just file, save all, and this animation montage we will be using in the animation blueprint Terra. Open animation blueprint Terra, animation blueprint, and here we can reuse it. Therefore, we have to go to the animation graph at the beginning and make a usage of a slot. So just drag out and press or type in slot, default slot. This is slot-based animation. We can combine and save it. And when clicking on slot, we can see on the right side slot name. We have a lot of different slot where we can choose which kind of behavior we want to achieve. For the Terra checkup, we want the default group and full body. Just click on full body and then compile and save. With that setup, we can also go to the content browser and open up on our animation montage. And in the animation montage, we can open up default group, default slot. Just click on slot and slot name and choose the default group full body. So we have here the same as in our animation blueprint. Basically, you can use with slot functionality and the different slot names, you can set up different behaviors, different animations within a montage based on the group. What I want to do is to speed it up. So at rate scale, we can speed up like 1.4. So the animation will be quicker. If you see that there is kind of bug, that the animation is not playing, we just can save it and reopen it. So when saving and reopen it, the animation will be playing just fine as it should. So what we also can do is within the animation, when the animation is getting played, we can use timings and notifies. So basically when we can do something like in the default timing, some montage section to name it. And what also very good is in the notifies, in the track 1, for example, we can set right click and notify and play something like sounds or particular effects or something else. So in that animation montage, we can do some more work around the animation. Normally, it's a sound effect or a particular effect. What we can do here. So with a notify based on the timeline, we can do other stuff too, not just the animation. So keep in mind when you click on the timing or the other sections, there are different menu settings available. When you want to use notifies, so you have to get on the notify track and at notify, then you can add some events here. It is time-based. So back to the content browser and our animation blueprint. What we also can do is to blend poses, and therefore we go drag here out and write down blend poses by bool. Based on true or false, we can blend different poses. What we can do is active value, promote to variable, right click on it, promote to variable, and the active value we will rename it to is rolling. Now we can use this behavior and detach the logic from the ground local motion movement, basically pressing Alt and click on it and connect the false pose. Therefore, we have the functionality when is rolling is true, then we will be rolling with the character, and when is rolling is false, he will play the ground local motion movement in the false state. And basically, that was our idle animation or jogging animation, running animation. I mean sprinting. So idle, jogging, and sprinting will be on the false, then post by bool incoming when rolling is false. And when the bool variable rolling is true, we will just roll. We can also use different slots. So the ground local motion movement can cage it also. We can just detach it and move it around like that. Then we can cage it. I think it have to be new saved cage pose and just rename it ground local cage. And this cage we can reuse then in the false. Use cage pose ground local cage. So we use the cage pose here. Can also copy and paste these two ones with Ctrl D and connect it like that. We want to use different blend spaces. So this slot will be not full body anymore. We use another slot. So click on the slot full body here, and slot name will be not full body, default group upper body. So we can use the upper body. It is basically the part at the hips and upstairs. This is the upper body. And we also want to cage this. Just drag it out and type in cage, new save cage pose, and rename it UpperBodyCache. Basically, with the page, we can save different states, different animation states. And when we have more states, it makes sense. But for now, we just use the UpperBodyCache and plug it into the slot full body here. So just drag the source here and get the use caged post UpperBodyCache like that. Compile and save. So now we have the normal behavior in the false and the UpperBodyCache, which will be rolling and on the true pose in case this rolling is Boolean true. With that setup, it should working that we have the rolling and the other states separated based on this Boolean. So next, what we are doing is to use our interface. Just go to the main folder, to the folder interfaces, and in the bbint animation bbterra, open it up. Here we want to add a function, so we can reuse it in our event graph as the next function calling. So we need this event, this other function. When we are in the interface, just click on add RollingState. The function RollingState gets an input, name it state. It is from type Boolean. Compile and save. Back to our animation bbterra. We now can use it. Just type in RollingState. I'm sorry, I want to call it add event RollingState. When this event gets fired, we want to drag and drop its rolling as a variable into state and setting it. Compile and save. So when this blueprint is called, we set the rolling through the interface, and when the rolling is set to true or false, we just are in our animation graph, either in rolling mode or in the idle, jogging, or sprinting mode. The next is to set up the player itself. Go to our BB hero character, and there in our event graph, we also made the sprinting last time, and we now need the rolling. So for the rolling, we need also an input action. Let's have a look if an input action is already there. Just go to input, and we have an input action rolling here. Our input mapping context says that when it's rolling, it is a spacebar. So when the player presses the spacebar, the player have to rolling around. Back to the BB hero character, our player, we just right click and then the action event input action rolling, EA underscore rolling, and open it up. And when it's rolling, like the sprinting part, we have to call a function. One way could be play montage, just montage, play montage. It's one of the ways how it can be done. A little bit different to the last one. This time we want to use custom events, and therefore we also need a Boolean variable like is printing. This time variables plus, and just type in is rolling. And the rolling variable will be this time not in notify state. At replication, you can just click on replicate it, compile and save. Basically, what we want to do is drag the is rolling, get is rolling, and we need also a branch. It started when the spacebar is pressed. We just want to start the sequence when it's not rolling. So when it's not rolling, it have to be here true, and call a custom event. So we get is rolling and type in not Boolean. So when the player is not rolling, then will be the condition true here. And there we want to call a custom event. Just right click, add event, add custom event, server event rolling, replicates run on server, enable reliable, compile and save. So it will be executed on the server. On the server side, we want to set the is rolling. So get is rolling, drag and drop it, and set is rolling. So the server says if the player can rolling or not. We can set it true. So when the server event rolling is called, then the server says you can roll or you are rolling. And when the player gets is rolling, then basically he can roll around. So when the client is not rolling and is pressing the spacebar, then it's true. And we want to call server rolling event. And the server rolling event here on the server side set our rolling to true. Then we need the next custom event. That custom event, this time it will be a multicast. Multi-rolling replicates multicast, reliable, compile and save. With the multicast, we can manage an animation montage. Therefore, we go to multi-rolling and add an input and name it montage. Instead of type Boolean, we want here an object type anim montage. What the server does in server event rolling, it calls the multi-rolling on this after setting the rolling, the multicast rolling, and the multicast rolling will multicast a montage. This montage is then the montage we created with you. So the TerraChar rolling new montage. This montage we can plug in there in the BB Hero character. So just go to the content browser, and in the content browser we have to go to the folder player in the main folder and just click on our Terra rolling new montage, animation montage, and go back to the BB Hero character and plug in with the use assert browser selection arrow our montage. Important is that the server is calling the multicast or multi-rolling with the montage. So now we have the multi-rolling, and the multi-rolling, it wants to play the montage, play montage. And to play a montage, we need the montage, which is montage to play. And we also need the skeletal mesh component. The skeletal mesh component we can get from the server. So this mesh here, we need something like the mesh here. We can get it also from the server. So when we delete it, and just drag and drop the skeletal mesh component into the multi-rolling custom event, then we get another variable here in skeleton mesh component, and then we can get from the server here the montage and the skeletal mesh component. You can just rename it, the input variable to mesh, and you can drag and drop the order here. So the mesh is upstairs, the montage downstairs. So we have this looking, compile and save. After doing so, we can have the montage to play here, and the mesh, just drag and drop the mesh component from the BB Hero character into the mesh. So the server can give the mesh component to the multi-rolling, and the multi-rolling will be playing the montage for us. This montage will be played within a multicast. It is reliable, so all players in the multiplayer game should see it. All right. Now when the server is sending it, you also have to get the is rolling to be false after the multicast is played. And also we have to get the is rolling as a variable, just drag and drop it to the server event rolling. So we have here a variable and can give it here when the player is not rolling and pressing the spacebar, he goes to true and want to send is rolling with true to the server event rolling. And we can extend it with a boolean. So basically, we want to check server event rolling with a branch and get the is rolling condition deselected. And when rolling is true, then we are getting here and just setting rolling to true, playing the multi-rolling. And when rolling is false, we want to set rolling. So this rolling will be set to false. And this rolling is false, it will be set to false. What we now can do here on the multi-rolling, and the play montage through the multicast is completed, then we want to communicate it to the server. On completed, we just call the function server event rolling, and the server event rolling, we want to leave it blank here, so the rolling is false. Basically, when the player is pressing the spacebar, he is not rolling, he sends a rolling true to the server event rolling gets in the condition true and sets the rolling to true and does a multicast to notify every other players that they have to play a player montage. And when the player montage is done, it is sending back to the server, is rolling is false, I'm ready, on complete. So when the time is ready, the server gets an boolean false for rolling and just go into the branch and setting the is rolling to false. Compile and save. And so the player have to wait until the rolling is finished to roll again with the next spacebar. That is the people hero actor. Now we have to implement also the animation blueprint part. So basically when the event triggers here the rolling, therefore we can use the interface in BP hero character. Just want to call our interface. Therefore we want to get the mesh. The mesh is getting us the get anim instance. So the mesh giving us the animation instance, and the animation instance is calling the interface blueprint function RollingState. When the rolling state is true, we want to play the montage and call the animation to start. And when the rolling state is not true, then we want to send an interface call with information the rolling have to not be played. Therefore, we need also the boolean. So just drag and drop the state into the multi-rolling. So we have the state. We can rename it as rolling. When it's rolling, it will play the montage. And when it's not rolling, then it have to not play the montage. Also, we need a branch for that. Just let the branch plug in the condition rolling. When rolling is true, it will play the rolling state, the montage with a multicast. And when it's false, it have to set it false within the interface and the animation blueprint. I hope it makes sense so far. Also, we need the rolling on the server side. So when the rolling as condition is true, we will rolling. And when we are rolling, we want to send a rolling state true. And when we are not rolling, that we want to send a multi-rolling without a true, that will not play the animation montage. Control E. So when it's not rolling in false, we also want to set it false here. So the state will be false in that case. And when the state is false here we are ignoring the montage because when we are sending the rolling state false on multi-rolling, I compile and save it. Just have to re-import it. Multi-rolling. The multi-rolling is put in false, and then we're going to this branch with false, and in false case, it will just notify, it will just send the interface function and the state to the animation blueprint with false. So we get here false, and it will not rolling anymore. Compile and save. So we start the rolling. The rolling is then ongoing on the true, and the multi-rolling is called. Then on the true, we're sending the blueprint animation with an interface information. We play the montage. We notify the server that we are ready on complete after the time is gone. The server will be sending the condition false because it's complete. The rolling will be false. The multi-rolling, multicast get also the multicast to all clients that we are ready. Condition will be RollingState false, and that should do the work. The RollingState is calling the interface, and the interface is implemented also on the animation blueprint checkup. It sets its rolling, and when the rolling is set, the animation graph will be in the rolling state true. So the upper pose or upper body will be rolling here. Basically, we are using, when rolling, the full body, and on the other, we want to use the lower body cache. So just delete the cache here and right click, use cache post upper body cache. So we can, after the full body motion, we can place the upper body cache within the false. I think it's a little bit advanced, but basically when we are through and rolling, because the interface is getting called, the function, then we use the upper body cache here, then full body, and will be rolling. We are basically playing this animation with the default group full body, and after the is rolling gets false, we use again the caged upper body. So it is caged, it was saved, and will be run again, like idle, jogging, or sprinting. I hope it makes sense so far. If not, you can review the video and try to figure it out. Let's try it out. Just try to play in client mode. So when walking around, you can sprint, and when pressing space, I am rolling. As you see, the other client is seeing my rolling, and the rolling is working in the multiplayer. Works fine so far. Let's see if it is working also for the other player. So when the other player is moving around and rolling, I see also the rolling on the other screen. So the running is working and the rolling is working. Right. That's for the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you can follow along. And this rolling is a nice feature for multiplayer games or for maybe PvP games, but it needs more than just rolling. Maybe something like a stamina system that the player can not just rolling around like infinity only and have to just regenerate the stamina or something else. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.